one and only Rick Hansen. Great to see you as always, Rick.
Yeah, thanks, Rhea. It's great to be here.
Last time we had you on, I believe, September, and we talked about your initiative, Access4All, Barrier Busters, and this morning you have a very special announcement.
Yeah, we do. You know, that was the beginning, the launch of being accepted by the Government of Canada as a signature event to celebrate Canada's 150th. Here we are now in 2017. This is Canada's birthday year, and we wanted to leave Canada a birthday present, and that's to be able to ask Canadians to find barriers that stand in the way of people with disabilities from leaving and living their potential and come up with solutions. And we now have had over 250 grants from across the country, in process right now, in the sort of selection process, and we're announcing the first 15 grants that have been actually selected officially, and so it's over $500,000 worth of grants that we're giving out. And of course in BC there's over 5 projects that have been selected, and they're really exciting projects, and we're just thrilled to be leaving Canada birthday pleasant by knocking down barriers.
How do you choose? You have so much interest in all these applications coming in. How do you choose these people?
Yeah, we've got a great selection process. Some world experts who look at the applications, and then of course we make sure that they're considering solutions that include people with mobility, visual, hearing, and cognitive challenges to be able to come up with solutions and have quality projects that ultimately meet standards that are today's standards, not yesterday's, and ultimately leave a lasting legacy. And so that process goes on. We select the projects, and then of course we announce them, because we want to also create awareness behind those projects so that it shines a light on other things. People are picking accessible trails, play parks in schools, elementary schools. They're looking at libraries, community centers, and this is a fantastic example of what Canadians can do once they are aware and they start looking.
Timeline from approval for funding to seeing these ideas in action. What do we usually see?
Well, we started the announcement in October, and of course now we're into that first round. We have applications still open until the end of March, and then timelines will go right through in terms of implementation through the end of the year, and even the communications side. I think it's January the 31st of 2018 to be able to continue to promote the results of the ribbon cuttings and the actual solutions that are put in place this year. So again, a legacy, and we want to keep it going, because it's not just the 150th. This is every year from here on in until we get to the goal.
And you've promoted this message, Access4All, so many times, not only on this show, but out in the community. But what has truly changed with the conversation surrounding people living with disabilities? What's the reality now in Canada? What are the projections, and how are communities embracing this change?
Yeah, the change is we're moving from that general sense of just getting in the door, and maybe predominantly thinking about people in wheelchairs, to, the disability affects 4 million Canadians, 1.1 billion people on the planet. Aging baby boomers are having disabling conditions, and we have to consider universal and inclusive design and formalize our lens by how we view accessibility, so that we don't miss it and then have to go back and retrofit again. We need to get in front of it and then ultimately professionalize the approach, so that what we do here in Vancouver is as relevant as what they do in Beijing.
Is it a big challenge when you look at preserving heritage with the history of some buildings and then bringing in the new ideas with Access4All?
It's a challenge, but the solutions are amazing. I mean, I think about the legislature in Manitoba when I first came on the tour almost 30 years ago today, when I was wheeling across the prairies, and that legislature wasn't accessible. And then 15 years later, the Premier created a modified ramp right from the original rock and the quarry that built the original building, and you wouldn't even know that the ramp was there. It was affordable, it was functional, it was super. But then here we are 30 years later, and now they're looking at an MLA who's a quadriplegic, and they're now looking at actually modifying the inside of the building on the floor of the legislature, because there's stairs down, so he can wheel across and speak to his colleagues and be a parliamentarian. And that's the shift from general access to full inclusion, and we keep moving forward, because yesterday's standards can be today's handicaps.
Well, you're changing things in a major way. What's the website for people to find out more and support and get these applications?
They just look us up at rickhansen.com. Applications can still come in until the end of March, and so really appreciate people's response, and more importantly, it's so great to be giving out these 15 successful applicants, and of course the next 35 will be coming down the pipe between now and the end of March.
And big party plan, 30th anniversary Man in Motion Tour?
Absolutely. May 22nd, in Ottawa with a National Youth Summit, next generation of difference makers who will keep this going until we get to the goal.
Rick Hansen.
Thanks,
You don't
Jess.
stop.
Appreciate it, man.
Always great to have you on. Your daily dose of inspiration. Don Chubey.
Good man, doing great work and great foundation. Thank you.